Organizations undergo change. One of the most crucial responsibilities for leaders is engaging stakeholders. Stakeholders are individuals or groups who have an interest in the outcome of the change, and their support can make or break the process. In this opening scene, we'll explore why stakeholders matter so much and set the stage for understanding their role in organizational transformation. Leaders must recognize that change is not just about processes or systems, but about people. By involving stakeholders early, leaders can build trust, reduce resistance, and pave the way for smoother transitions. Let's dive into the world of stakeholder engagement and see how it shapes successful change. Stakeholders come in many forms: employees, customers, suppliers, investors, and even the wider community. Each group has unique interests and concerns regarding organizational change. Leaders must identify who their stakeholders are and understand what matters most to them. This process involves mapping out relationships and considering how each stakeholder might be affected by the change. By defining stakeholders clearly, leaders can tailor their engagement strategies and ensure that no important voices are overlooked. The next step is to analyze their influence and prioritize their involvement. Not all stakeholders have the same level of influence. Some may have the power to drive change forward, while others might resist or slow progress. Leaders must assess the influence and interest of each stakeholder group. This helps prioritize engagement efforts and allocate resources effectively. By understanding who holds sway, leaders can focus on building alliances with those who can champion the change. This strategic approach ensures that the most critical voices are heard and that potential obstacles are addressed proactively. Effective communication is at the heart of stakeholder engagement. Leaders must develop clear, consistent messages that address stakeholders' concerns and explain the reasons for change. Open channels for feedback allow stakeholders to voice their opinions and feel heard. Regular updates keep everyone informed and reduce uncertainty. By using a variety of communication methods such as meetings, emails, and presentations, leaders can reach different groups and ensure that information flows smoothly throughout the organization. Trust is a foundational element in any change initiative. Stakeholders are more likely to support change when they trust the leadership and believe their interests are being considered. Leaders can build trust by being transparent, honest, and responsive. Sharing both successes and challenges demonstrates authenticity and encourages stakeholders to stay engaged. Trust takes time to develop, but it is essential for overcoming resistance and fostering a collaborative environment. Resistance is a natural reaction to change, especially when stakeholders feel uncertain or threatened. Leaders must anticipate resistance and address it proactively. This involves listening to concerns, providing reassurance, and involving stakeholders in problem solving. By acknowledging resistance and working through it together, leaders can turn skeptics into supporters. Managing resistance effectively is a key skill for any leader navigating organizational change. Empowerment means giving stakeholders a voice and a role in the change process. Leaders can involve stakeholders in decision-making, encourage participation, and delegate responsibilities. This approach not only increases buy-in but also taps into the collective expertise of the organization. Empowered stakeholders feel valued and are more likely to contribute positively to the change effort. Leadership is about creating opportunities for others to lead as well. Feedback is essential for continuous improvement during organizational change. Leaders should establish mechanisms for stakeholders to provide input and share their experiences. Surveys, focus groups, and informal conversations are valuable tools for gathering feedback. By acting on feedback, leaders demonstrate that they value stakeholder perspectives and are committed to making the change process better. This ongoing dialogue helps identify issues early and adjust strategies as needed. Stakeholder mapping is a practical tool for leaders. It involves visually representing stakeholders based on their influence and interest. This map helps leaders identify who needs more attention and which groups can be leveraged as allies. By updating the map regularly, leaders can track changes in stakeholder dynamics and adjust their engagement strategies accordingly. Stakeholder mapping brings clarity and focus to the engagement process. Leadership plays a central role in stakeholder engagement. Leaders set the tone for change, model desired behaviors, and inspire others to follow. Their actions and attitudes influence how stakeholders perceive the change initiative. Effective leaders are visible, approachable, and willing to listen. They create a sense of purpose and motivate stakeholders to work towards a common goal. Leadership is not just about directing, it's about connecting. Collaboration is key to successful stakeholder engagement. Leaders can use workshops, joint projects, and cross-functional teams to foster collaboration. These techniques encourage stakeholders to share ideas, solve problems together, and build relationships. Collaboration breaks down silos and creates a sense of unity. By promoting collaborative practices, leaders ensure that stakeholders are actively involved and invested in the change process. Transparency is vital for building credibility and trust. Leaders should share information openly, including the rationale for change, expected outcomes, and potential challenges. Transparent communication reduces rumors and speculation, helping stakeholders feel more secure. When leaders are honest about what they know and what they don't, stakeholders appreciate the authenticity and are more likely to stay engaged. Stakeholders often have concerns about how change will affect them. Leaders must address these concerns directly and empathetically. This involves listening carefully, providing clear answers, and offering support where needed. By acknowledging and addressing concerns, leaders show that they care about stakeholders' well-being. This approach helps reduce anxiety and build stronger relationships. Celebrating milestones and successes is important for maintaining momentum during change. Leaders should recognize stakeholder contributions and highlight achievements. This positive reinforcement encourages continued engagement and motivates stakeholders to keep moving forward. Celebrations can be formal or informal, but the key is to acknowledge progress and express gratitude. Stakeholder engagement is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. Leaders must maintain regular contact, update stakeholders on progress, and seek input throughout the change journey. Continuous engagement keeps stakeholders invested and allows leaders to respond to emerging issues quickly. By staying connected, leaders ensure that stakeholders remain supportive and involved. Change is dynamic and stakeholder needs may evolve over time. Leaders must be flexible and adapt their engagement strategies as circumstances change. This could mean shifting communication methods, adjusting timelines, or revisiting stakeholder priorities. Adaptability ensures that leaders remain responsive and effective, even as the organization moves through different phases of change. Measuring stakeholder engagement helps leaders understand what's working and where improvements are needed. Leaders can use surveys, participation rates, and feedback analysis to assess engagement levels. By tracking these metrics, leaders gain insights into stakeholder attitudes and can make data-driven decisions. Measurement is an important part of refining engagement strategies and achieving successful change. Organizational culture shapes how stakeholders respond to change. Leaders must understand the existing culture and leverage its strengths to support engagement. This may involve aligning change initiatives with core values, traditions, and behaviors. By respecting culture, leaders can build rapport and minimize resistance. Culture is a powerful force that influences stakeholder attitudes and action. Every change initiative provides valuable lessons. Leaders should reflect on past experiences, identify what worked well, and learn from mistakes. Sharing these lessons with stakeholders fosters a culture of learning and improvement. By embracing continuous learning, leaders and stakeholders can become more resilient and better prepared for future changes. Sustaining stakeholder engagement requires ongoing effort. Leaders must continue to communicate, recognize contributions, and address concerns even after the initial change has been implemented. Sustained engagement ensures that the benefits of change are realized and maintained over time. Leaders play a vital role in keeping stakeholders motivated and committed to the new direction. Engaging stakeholders is a pivotal aspect of leadership during organizational change. Leaders who prioritize stakeholder engagement build trust, foster collaboration, and drive successful outcomes. By understanding stakeholder needs, communicating effectively, and adapting strategies, leaders can navigate the complexities of change and create lasting value. As we conclude, remember that stakeholder engagement is not just a task, it's a mindset that shapes the future of any organization.